Hi guys, I'm Julie, and today we're going to be doing some more soccer skills and technique. We're going to be working on advancing the ball, specifically drawing in the defender, so it's more in an offensive day and focusing on that. So I'm going to bring everybody into the whiteboard and we're going to start our warm-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to count you into 4 teams of 6. So I'll count you off and you'll get in to your teams, and we're going to have dots on pre-existing lines for our boundaries. And what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 lines of 3 in each of your team, and you're going to start on the dot, and we're going to jog up the court and diagonally pass to your partner with the ball. And it's not a weave, so we're not following our ball, you're just going straight up the court and diagonally passing. So if you go up to the picture, you see your baseline, you're going to start on the baseline and diagonally pass to your partner as you're jogging up the court. And once you get to the baseline, you're going to go back to the end of the line. The second people in line are going to wait 3 seconds before starting, so you don't have to wait until the end of the line. You get to start after 3 seconds. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to count you off. And we're going to do that for about 3 minutes. And then after that, we're going to do a competition. So once everybody in your team gets to the end of the baseline, one direction, you're going to sit down and we're going to see who gets there first, and that's gonna be the winner. Okay, so now we're gonna go into game 1. Like before, it's gonna be 4 teams of 6, and we're gonna have 1 goalie, 2 defenders, and 3 attackers. So I'm just gonna show you first how it's gonna look. So if you come into the picture, we're gonna have a goal, 2 defenders on each side of the goal, and a goalie. So what's gonna happen is the goalie is going to kick the ball to an attacker, and then a defender is going to draw in, creating an open space on the court for this attacker to go into the open space, and for this one to pass the ball into this and to potentially score into the goal. It doesn't matter which defender just goes in, it's just an example. It can be either one, and you're going to want to switch it up on the court during that time. So the rules of the game is you're going to have a warm defense, and you can only pass forwards because we want to advance the ball instead of go backwards. And the attackers only get 3 touches on the ball, so you can pass 3 times to each other, and once 3 passes are made, you're not allowed to pass again, so you have to shoot and try to score into the goal. It's a half court, but be careful because there's going to be another team on the other side of the court, and if a ball goes in, we want to stop playing because we don't want anyone to roll their ankle or anything, so stop and get the ball out of the court before you move on. Okay, sorry guys, I had to move because it started raining. So everybody come back into the whiteboard, and we're going to do a follow-up on game 1. So the first question is, why is it important to draw in the defender? And that's because it creates open space to pass and score the ball. And the second question is, when is it the best time to pass versus when is the best time to dribble? It's the best time to pass when you have a defender directly on you and there's not a lot of open space. And the best time to dribble is when the defender is not near you, so you have a bunch of space to advance the ball. So now we're going to get into our practice tasks. Like before, we're going to have, this time actually, we're going to have 3 groups of 8 people. We're going to have 6 offensive players and 2 defenders. So if you come into the picture, it's going to look a little something like this. It's going to have a square-like fashion with 4 cones for our boundaries and a 5x5 yard area. So our attackers are going to be on each 4 cones and 2 on the sides, and our defenders are going to be in the middle of the square. The attackers are trying to pass the ball in the middle of the square to each other without getting intercepted by the defender. So the defender is trying to draw in and intercept the ball away from the attackers. If this happens, then the defender who has been inside the square the longest is going to switch with the attacker who tried to pass the ball. Or if it's the first time, then obviously the defender who intercepted the ball will then switch with the attacker. So we're going to do this for about 5 minutes, except I want you to try to work on our cues. For our cues, I have PAP, position, analyze, and progression. We want to position ourselves to receive and to pass the ball. We want to analyze our surroundings. If the defender is near you or if they're not near you, what you're going to do, are you going to dribble or are you going to pass? And then we want to progress the ball forward, and we want to advance it. In this case, if we're only passing, we're not dribbling. So we're going to do this for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back. Okay, so everyone, let's come back to the whiteboard, and we'll do a follow-up on the practice task. I'm just gonna ask what were the cues and why were they helpful to you? If they were, hopefully they were. And so after that, we're gonna get into our game 2. It's gonna be a lot like game 1, except this time it's gonna be a 6-on-6 scrimmage with each other. It's a lot of the same rules as game 1. You can't pass backwards. The scoring is the same, so if the offense scores, it's 2 points, and if the defense intercepts and scores, it's gonna be 1 point. So if you go into the game, this is just kind of how it's going to be set up. The defender side, the goalie is going to kick to the attackers, and then you're just going to play out the ball, except if the defense intercepts and scores, it's 1 point, and if the offense scores, it's 2 points, except this time it's going to be hot defense for the defensive side, and there's no passing limit for the offense. And you can only switch positions between offense and defense, which team is going to be which position once the attackers score. So if the defense scores, you're still going to be on the same position until the offensive side scores a point, and then you'll switch positions. So we'll do that for about 5 minutes and then we'll come back. Okay, so if everyone will come back over to the whiteboard, we're going to do our closure. I just have a few questions for you guys for the overall lesson, and hopefully you guys will be able to know the answers after this. So what were the 3 cues? Why were the 3 cues important? And when is it the best time to draw in the defender? And hopefully you guys will be able to come up to the answers with those. But that's all I have for this lesson. And during this time, I hopefully would have had a volunteer to help set up dots and cones for me. And I would have been counting you guys off into groups and making sure everything was going smoothly and walking around. And hopefully everything would have gone as planned. But that's all I have for today. Thanks, guys.